Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is Hunter here, and I'm here with Scott. Scott, how you doing, sir?
Doing good, Hunter. How you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend. I'm here with Colin as well. Colin, how are you, kind sir?
I'm good. It's good to be here.
Mm. Yeah, we missed you last week, man. You were off a camping, if memory serves. So,
That's not true. 2 weeks
Excuse.
ago I was, but
2 weeks ago, yeah, they all blend together. You know what? What's actually weird? I was talking to Oh, by the way, happy Father's Day to the dads out there. Got to talk to old Papa B, who says hello, by the way. But
What's up, Papa B?
Papa
but
B.
does it feel like this summer movie season has just kind of blended together? Like there's really hasn't been a whole lot of stuff that stood out, if that makes sense.
Not a lot of kickoffs. There's not like a big kickoff. I mean, maybe Wonder Woman, but
Well,
I don't know.
Guardians,
Right? Yeah, but that was pretty early.
yeah,
Seems
but
like we're just beginning summer, but we haven't really seen a lot of those huge blockbusters, and the ones that were supposed to be maybe aren't. Like we were just talking about this yesterday. Tom Cruise. I feel like The Mummy could have been better. Like they could have made that a blockbuster movie, but I feel like they kind of fucked that one up.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I think there's always like that Tom Cruise movie that kind of slides in there, and that just adds to the summer movie kind of caliber of what we're used to seeing, whether it's a Mission
mhm.
Impossible or some other action sci-fi movie, and this one really missed the mark. So yeah, I think it's been a little bit of a struggle.
yeah, and I will say the movie we're talking about may have been more of a surprise than some of us thought, and it might be an absolute piece of poo. We are talking about Rough Night, starring Scarlett Johansson, who's not attractive at all. So
ScarJo.
yeah, I gotta admit, man, I'm kind of an asshole about this, but I'm starting to become less and less. How do I put this? If they're not in a Marvel movie, I don't care, and Scarlett Johansson pretty much falls into that mold for me. But I like her, so I was hoping this would be good.
She's in a
And
Marvel movie. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you
she's
talking
black.
about?
Wait, what? That's great.
Scarlett Johansson is in a Marvel movie.
Yes, she is. What are you talking about?
I'm telling you she is.
Oh,
You're saying that
no, no. I'm saying
that she applied to that what you're talking about.
no. What I meant is if she's not,
That she was. Oh, okay.
yeah, like
If there's a lead that isn't a part
yeah,
of that, then
exactly.
you could care less.
No, it's
Fair enough.
yeah, it's like when I see Chris Evans in other movies, except for Snowpiercer. It's like if you're not throwing a big giant shield, I really don't care if you're in the movie.
Snowpiercer. We should rewatch Snowpiercer.
Yeah, actually we should, but oh wow, we've gotten off topic here. But anyways, I was like Snowpiercer, all shit. But so I will just ask for quick. What was everyone's expectations going into this? I mean, were they high, middle ground, below sea level? Like, what were we all kind of thinking going into this?
Go for it, Colin.
I think when I saw the trailer, I was very apprehensive in what was going to happen in this movie, um, but kind of delving in a little deeper and knowing that it's Lucia Anelio. I guess I'm trying with that last name, but it's the one of the writers creators of Broad City, basically.
Yeah.
Was behind this. And Broad City, like all three seasons are incredibly highly reviewed, critically, fan wise. It's got a huge following. And I like it myself.
Me too.
So, yeah. So, knowing that was the case, and then you're also getting two of the stars from Broad City in the movie. Looking into that beforehand, I was like, oh, maybe this movie has potential. As far as Scarlett Johansson, I wasn't expecting anything from her going into it. I was like, she's gonna be kind of that like the straight laced character that kind of just like progresses the movie forward plot wise. She's probably not going to be adding anything into any of the comedy, which I found to be completely true. Um, and then
Preach.
it also had Jillian Bell in it, and I'm actually a big Jillian Bell fan. She's
I am too.
from Workaholics. She also had like a very underrated shows kind of spin-off wise on Comedy Central called Idiot Sitter, which
Yeah, yes, I do.
I
like
was
that.
actually a pretty big fan of. And then you also have Kate McKinnon, which Kate McKinnon's got a pretty big following from SNL. I wasn't like the hugest fan of hers in Ghostbusters. So
Yeah.
that was kind of my thoughts going into the movie.
Scott, what about you?
Yeah, similar kind of at first glance. It looks like this is definitely not something I would be into, just plot wise. Bachelorette party. I feel like we can fill in the blanks like with a lot of this stuff, and I mean, I wasn't necessarily wrong. Yeah, Scarlett Johansson, totally agree with you. Like going into it, I knew I didn't think she was gonna be like the star, and as when it comes to like the comedy aspect, love Jillian Bell, the Frankie in this one, but the star of what's the name of the show with that you were just talking
Broad
about?
City? Broad City.
Oh yeah, Broad City.
Colin Broad City. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ilana Glazer, she's really good. Kate McKinnon is. I'm not like in love with her from SNL, but I know that she's decent. I guess. I don't know. Expectations going in were pretty low. Like I was not expecting to enjoy this, and I feel like it was something that was hard for me to pay for. This was like going into it. I'm like, there's a really good chance this is going to be really bad.
Damn.
And exactly what I think going into it. But then also like there are characters in it. Like I didn't think necessarily I was going to like Bridesmaids, but I really like that. And we'll probably get into that a little bit later. But yeah, expectations were fairly low.
So I'm just gonna say right now, I'm that guy who just thought Bridesmaids wasn't very good. I remember all my female friends, "What? It's a great movie. Come on!" And I'm like, "No, I don't get why everyone is so in love with it." I actually went back and watched it about a year ago, and still sitting there thinking, "Yep, still don't get it. I don't get why everybody loves this." And Kate McKinnon, I'm right there with you guys. After I still hold that terrible queef joke from Ghostbusters against her. The moment she dropped that line, I went, "You're a terrible comedian." So my bar was pretty low for this, but I don't know. Going in, I was like, all right, as long as it's not, as long as it wasn't snatched, and I just didn't leave angry, I was gonna consider it a win. But the plot's basic as hell. So Jess is Scarlett Johansson plays Jess, who's engaged to Peter, I think is the guy's name. And basically, she goes on to a bachelorette party to Miami with Alice, who's her best friend, played by Jillian Bell, Zoe Kravitz, who plays Blair, Kate McKinnon, who is this foreign exchange student, or no, she was a student abroad that stayed with her or something, named Pippa, and then Lana Glazer, who's Frankie, who's this grassroots, like, oh, corporation's bad, but that girl from from college. And so they all basically end up hanging out, celebrating Jess's bachelorette. They end up getting her a stripper, and Jillian Bell, because she's fat, kills the stripper by jumping on him. And I gotta admit, that was something that did make me go, damn, the way they keep the quote stripper unquote gets killed is like pretty gruesome shit. That would be a fucked up way to go. So it's about the women basically trying to cover it up, and then you get into deeper things as far as the plot's concerned. So
some people call it hijinks.
Yeah, so I mean, this is basically Bridesmaids mixed with Weekend at Bernie's. Basically, is what this is, and
you'd be a little bit too complimentary there.
No. I mean, as far as the concept, I didn't say it was as good as Weekend at Bernie's. Calm down, okay? I'm just saying that's what they're shooting for, and I'll tell you right now, I was not maybe bored is a little extreme, but I was kind of like, all right, for the first 20-ish minutes or so, and then a shining light appears, and his name is Ty Burrell, aka Phil Dunphy, shows up as a Pietro, and his wife Leah, played by Demi Moore, who still looks hot. I think she's in her 50s. I'm like, damn. And they play this swinger couple that lives in the Miami house that they're renting, or that they're their neighbors. Pardon me. And they actually interjected some humor into it. I thought Phil Dunphy was wonderful in this as a Pietro, but
I like that he's just Phil Dunphy.
yeah, no, he'll always be Phil.
Like,
Dunphy.
you really didn't need to say Ty Burrell. Like, you could have just said Phil Dunphy.
I know, but I actually liked him in the Mr. Peabody and Sherman movie. He was Mr. Peabody, so I'm trying to give him some
the
respect.
old classic. That's right.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You say that in jest. It was a damn good movie, okay? But anyways, so I don't know. Let's just kind of go down the list here. I thought Jillian Bell, unlike Kevin James, they didn't give her a whole bunch of fat jokes, which was nice. She was funny, I thought, in most of her scenes, and she has to turn on the emotion a little bit towards the end, and I don't know. I bought it. I bought where they kind of took her character. Zoe Kravitz, who you've seen in stuff like X-Men First Class. I mean, she's been in quite a bit of stuff, and not a lot of comedic stuff. She's kind of playing. She's basically playing a black Barbie. She's playing a less annoying Nicki Minaj, if you will. I thought she was actually pretty funny. Lana Glazer is really funny as Frankie, because she's weird and she's kind of uncomfortable, but that made me laugh. This is where I get to the problem. Kate McKinnon as Pippa, her accent was bugging the shit out of me. I don't know about you two, but anytime she spoke, even if it was a funny line, it was grating on my ears, and my ears were honestly sad because she just would not shut the fuck up. Scott, your thoughts, man? Oh yeah, and Scarlett Johansson is just, she's fine, I guess. Scott, what do you kind of think?
Yes, agree. This one starts really slow, and it's really hard to get into it, I think, because of that, and that really set me back for this entire movie. I think once somebody got killed, I was like, okay, I'm back in, but it really took up until that point for me to actually be engaged with this movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the characters. I mean, Jillian Bell, I did like Alana Glazer, Zoe Kravitz was pretty good. Pippa's accent definitely bugged the shit out of me.
Good.
I totally agree with you there. And then it was, my biggest problem with the movie, I think, is the filler in between the jokes. And I think the plot was thrown together. It was kind of getting buffoonish after a while of like, oh, who's at the door now? Oh, who's at the door now? And it was super predictable. I thought the jokes weren't necessarily bad. Like the conversation between them at certain points weren't bad. But I mean, like, there's so many little things. Like, just to begin with, the dudes are complete pussies, and like I get that's kind of the running joke, and I understand that, but like it didn't really make me laugh. I feel like, I don't know, this was hard. This was a hard one for me to like. Just plot wise, I feel like things just happen. I feel like the guy who's supposedly the stripper that first comes in, there's just so many little things in this movie. Colin, help me out.
I mean, it's hard to argue against any of the plot points you guys are bringing up. This is about like cookie cutter as it gets for this type of comedy movie that they make now. I mean, it's everything from Hangover to Weekend at Bernie's to like you said, Hunter, Bridesmaids. I mean, it has all these cliches and storylines that go in, like, or even like, what was it, Edgar Wright's, recent movie, where they do the beer mile.
Oh, World's End.
Yeah, World's End.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are all these storylines that have been done over and over and over again, where it's all the friends from when you were younger. They're meeting up again for one big party. You can kind of see the writing on the wall from the start. You know, like the one friend, you know, they've grown apart, and she still wants to, you know, be a part of their life. Just kind of like how it was with Kristen Wiig's character in Bridesmaids, where she's trying to plan this bit, you know, the bachelorette party and all these things, but the new friend is there. The new friend in this movie being Kate McKinnon. So all the plot points are just like from the start. I'm just like, okay, I can basically write this movie from like 20 minutes in. And I completely agree with you when you say like the first 20 minutes are super slow. I mean, the first 20 minutes are basically just like your basic, like, get a bunch of drunk girls to go to the movies, and they're just like, oh, look, it's like we're at the club, but we're at the movies. Like, oh, they're drinking a lot and doing coke, and it's so fun. And
this is
like,
a mom movie.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is a mom movie?
Yeah, and like none of that, like at the start, none of that was super funny. But I have to kind of like, I can already tell in you guys' tones what your opinion of the movie as a whole was, and I feel like I'm just like I was a little bit more in favor of the movie just because of a lot of the performances by some of the comedians. Like, I thought Jillian Bell was hilarious throughout. A lot of the bits involving Kate McKinnon, I can see how the accent was totally annoying, and from the start I was just like, is she really doing an Australian accent for the entire thing? But like a lot of the bits involving her ended up like being pretty funny. Like I laughed a lot during this movie. I honestly was like laughing a lot. I thought the like Paul W. Downs playing the fiance for Scarlett Johansson, him wine tasting with all of his like super gay buddies, I thought it was hilarious. And like what happened, like I thought one of the best bits was Scarlett Johansson calling. And then, like, basically, the call couldn't have gone worse. She's basically saying, like, something went horrible with a prostitute, and then she, like, screams no, and then her phone breaks. And then from then on out, Paul W. Downs' character, Peter, the fiance, is completely freaking out. And then the course of action, which is, like, a lot influenced by Eric Andre, who I love. I love that Eric Andre was in this movie. And...
No, Bo Burnham, I love
and Bo Burnham.
And Bo Burnham.
I thought Bo Burnham was great, too. I mean, it was the most, like, over-the-top, like, unrealistic group of guys, and I couldn't think it was funnier. But, yeah, I mean... So the movie kept me laughing kind of like once the first dude dies, and it's a bunch of shtick, like who's knocking on the door now type of like moving the plot along, and it steals things from basically every other movie ever. But I did appreciate some of the performances by the comedians. They kept me laughing, and honestly, like after seeing Snatched, where I don't think I chuckled once, like comparing it to that, I was like, I welcomed just being able to go to the movies and laugh for probably the first time this summer. I don't think I've been to a funny movie that I actually liked. So maybe I was giving it a little bit more leash than I probably would have if it came out in a year with like, I don't know, any other funny movie at all. But I guess that's kind of where I was sitting at with the plot and the performances. But yeah, Hunter, please.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I'm right between like where Scott is and where you are, because I thought the first 15 minutes was just dragging in a way that was damn near unforgivable. And I thought the last 15 minutes, no spoilers, but the way the movie wraps up is sort of you gotta be kidding me. The way they kind of write themselves out of getting, you know, arrested and everything is one of those, come on, really? That's what you're going like I rolled my eyes really hard at that part. But the 45-ish minutes in the middle, in between the last, you know, kind of bookending it, I laughed really hard at points. There's a point where Frankie, Ilana Glazer's character just goes, you know, they get coke at a point in the movie, and they kind of they show it in the trailer, which is a shame. But Scarlett Johansson, she's running for not senator, or like congresswoman or something. I can't remember. She's running for some sort of office, and she goes, well, I don't want to be caught, you know, doing coke. and she just snapped. She goes, "Will you stop being such a fucking cunt and do some coke?" I was like, Jesus Christ, and I laughed so hard. I mean, a cheap joke, admittedly, but I laughed really hard. So that was really funny. There's a point where Jillian Bell's Alice, she like pukes up her shot and then goes to drink it again. I was like, oh, that's disgusting, but I laughed hard at that. There was quite a bit of stuff that genuinely made me laugh. And towards the end of the movie, when they all kind of snap at each other, it's I don't know. It gave me some feels. I will be the first to admit. And I was sitting there thinking I shouldn't give a damn about this, but I don't know. It kind of melted my heart a little bit. I feel like Scott's about to bite my head off for saying all that, but go ahead, Scott.
No. I didn't. I mean, like I said, I just feel like the space in between the jokes really turned me off to this movie. That like they were willing. I feel like a lot of the concentration was just on maybe the jokes and the bits. And I was laughing through some of this movie. It's not like I didn't find any of it funny. I just think like the first 15-20 minutes set me up, and I was like a little bit bored at that point. And then I just like it felt like a Lifetime movie to start off with, sort of. And
Damn.
like I don't know. I just like the banter between them, where like you knew that the one girl, that Pippa, was the odd man out, and she was obviously in a tiff with Alice, and like they're all like crying at a point. Let's see. I wrote down my notes. Wah.
Damn. You're harsh.
But the main, just like to keep me in emotionally in this movie, their choice was to go with like "You Never See Me" or like it, and it just that doesn't connect with me. And I think of what the movie wasn't for me, I think, is what it really comes down to. And I did enjoy certain parts of it, but I think like there were too much time in between the hits for me to kind of compile it for me to enjoy this movie. And I didn't hate it. It didn't make me angry. Like I said, I laughed. And Colin makes some great points, especially about like they did portray the guys as kind of being weak, but they kind of ran with that and kind of owned it a little bit. And him driving cross country, I did get a few laughs out of that. But yeah, sorry, my dog puked.
I can kind of hear him. Yeah, I totally see where you're coming from, Scott. I think I would probably agree. Like by the end of the movie, like after most of the bits have been had, and thank God they didn't drag this movie on any longer than it was. And like Hunter, you talked about how like it was lazy and like completely unbelievable on how they wrapped everything up in a nice little bow. I honestly kind of got a chuckle because there's this one line at the end where she's just like, "So wait, we're just good?" Like this, and I think Kate McKinnon's like, "Yeah, I guess this is considered like a good murder or something like that." And it just kind of like poked fun at how like ridiculous the ending was. But like I totally agree that like as far as like wrapping up the plot, like you're not going to get any kind of like realistic or truly satisfying end to how like you would actually expect any of these scenarios to play out in real life.
And
but
I don't even think that like it was. I wasn't trying to take the movie too seriously. Like, oh, this plot is bullshit. Like, I'm not gonna have any fun. But like, yeah, I definitely like enjoyed some parts of it. The linking it together. I think from one scene, like the filler that they had. I hate to say it, like Ty Burrell was not like they were not my favorite part of this movie. Like I was
fiend.
not. Yeah, I know. I did love that, and then they were just like they threw in like a threesome scene in there that like was pretty unnecessary, and like the whole body thing, like the whole situation moving the body seemed a little like little clown car.
Yeah, I mean they could have been
So
playing
that-
the Benny Hill music through
Right,
through
right,
parts of it.
right.
Like when she drives the body out like maybe like 30 yards and throws it in the ocean
Right.
with like the waves coming right back, and I'm like it's gonna be on the beach in probably 10 minutes, and sure enough. But yeah, I agree. And honestly, there was some. Like a lot of the filler, I completely agree. It was.
Hey,
it
I'm
was,
glad you
it
got
was
some
super
pleasure out of
lacking.
this thing.
Yeah, no, like Zoe Kravitz. Like I don't know if I ever really got a chuckle from her, and she wasn't like bad. She seems like very lovely and probably should be doing movies classier than this. But and then yes. In fact, Alana Glazer, I don't think I really got like they're back and forth where they're kind of like secretly want to like be lesbians with each other. Like that was probably one of the weaker bits I thought of the
Really?
entire thing.
I
I didn't think
So-
that was that funny.
So I didn't think it was funny. I don't know. I think the way they did that, I found it like not laugh out loud funny, but I found it. I was very impressed in the way they were able to make it kind of tense but
Mhm.
sweet, but not make it feel exploitive. 'Cause that's
Yeah.
really hard to do, especially when you're doing like two girls, because
Yeah.
girls and girls. But but they did a good job of actually making it seem real, which I
Yeah.
have to give them
I
credit.
just-
She Ilana Glazer plays that kind of like alternative character though. Like that's kind of like her deal.
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
I mean?
I thought it made her super one dimensional, like as an actress to be, like in general, because that's her exact character on Broad City. Like she's like secretly just wants to be with Abby, like, and that's fine. Like that's a fairly funny bit, like where she just like, she's straight, but actually she wants to, get with her best friend. Yeah, but I thought that was lazy that they threw that into this movie when it's a well-established bit in Broad City, I guess.
I agree.
Okay, I mean, to play devil's advocate a little bit here, I mean, we always say that we love T.J. Miller and he plays the same role. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
True.
But-
Hey, I'm getting a little bit sick of him on Silicon Valley. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Okay, that is fair, but I'm just saying that other people I know, that's a huge thing. Like, oh, T.J. Miller's great. He plays the same role, but whatever. So I mean,
Yeah.
to
Well,
just balance it.
he's best, just like Alana Glazer. I'm not saying I don't like that bit in Broad City. I'm just saying T.J. Miller, his best character is in Silicon Valley. Like I agree with that. Like when they do transfer him into other movies and he's that exact same character, it does. I feel the same way. I feel like it's lazy and they're not developing him as a comedic actor where I can see other things that he'd probably be great at.
Okay, hey, fair enough. Just want to throw that out there, but
I'm curious to hear everybody's grades.
yeah. So the thing is, and Colin hit the nail right on the head. Snatch came out like a month ago, and I left that theater genuinely with my face hurting because I was just so enraged that I wasted. And I can't remember how. I think that was only 9. No, wasn't that like 2 hours? Maybe I think.
It was
feel like
terrible.
that
I don't know. It felt like 50 hours.
Yeah.
Are you
so-
sure your face wasn't hurting because you were laughing so hard?
bite me, Scott. But this was not that. So I did get some genuine humor out of this, and yeah, I laughed actually quite hard. There's a sequence in which they use the next episode, and that just made me genuinely happy with two of the guys, two of the bros in the movie. That made me laugh really hard because they make a great joke about astronauts, and I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, I laughed enough at this. Is it something I'll remember in a year? Probably not. I mean, it'll probably pop up on someone's list. They'll be like, oh yeah, that existed. That's right. But yeah, I'd give it a. I'll give it a C. Because I didn't hate it. So yeah, I'll give it a C. Colin, your thoughts, sir, and your final grade.
Yeah. I feel like I was defending this movie more than I thought I would. But I'm not trying to be an apologist for Rough Night. I just got some laughs. I think that's when it boils down to it. Like I went into it more than I probably really wanted to. But like honestly, when it boiled down to it, I was glad to go see a movie and get some laughs. Like, it was pretty funny. Like, the plot is completely ridiculous. Like, and it's cliches and stolen. Like, the framework of what's happening in this movie is you've probably seen it before. Um, I feel like we probably spent the least amount of time talking about Scarlett Johansson because she's just kind of there.
Yeah,
And
Totally.
she's never really funny, but she's never like awful either. Like, so she was just kind of there. But to not waste any more time talking about it, I probably would give it like a B minus, just because I got some good laughs. But like you said, I'm not gonna be remembering this movie like next year and be like, oh, I want to fire up Rough Night.
No, hey, fair enough. Ooh, Scott, I'm curious, man. What are you gonna
God,
give
here we
this?
go. You always set me up, Hunter. You always think I'm gonna bring down the hammer with one of these grades.
On this one, I honestly think you're going to.
I know. I'm not, because I didn't hate it, and like I got laughs out of it, and just like Colin said, as much as you think that you shouldn't like a movie or whatever how the plot has to do, you got laughs, and that's worth something. So it's not like the worst movie I've seen this year, but I wouldn't go out of my way to see it again, and I probably won't remember it in the next 6 months. So, gotta give it like a C minus, below average.
Ooh, wow.
And
God.
Scarlett Johansson. I'm not sure, like I think she was just the pawn that moved this whole movie, and everybody else was just like the comedy behind her, because she doesn't do comedy super well. Like, she's like okay for a straight man, and I think that was more of her role in this, and I think she did fine. But I would probably not want to see her in another, maybe because I'm so used to her being in like badass, action movies, but I don't know, not really my cup of tea for comedy with her personally.
Well, she's hosted SNL several times, and I think if you give her good material, she can be funny. But pardon me. But I think they just made her the straight woman in this, as Colin said, and they really didn't give her a whole lot. Um, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, did you like this better than Bridesmaids, Colin?
Um, no, I like Bridesmaids more than you do. I think Bridesmaids is pretty funny. It's a pretty decent movie.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
I'd probably give Bridesmaids like a B plus, and this
Okay.
is B minus. So
Okay. So it's
neither are hitting the A grade.
Yeah. I mean, not everything can be "I Love You, Man," which I just watched
Oh,
last night.
perfect movie.
Yeah, I fucking love that movie. God, Paul Rudd and Jason Segel, they're just. I have a huge crush on Paul Rudd. So but as we wrap up here, Scott, I'll ask you: would you rather watch this again, or would you rather watch The Boss?
The Boss with Ryan Reynolds.
No,
Boss?
the Boss with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, I would watch this again. 'Cause I think honestly, like, I would probably, I don't know, maybe I think I might, when you're going into a movie and you're just like not in a great mood.
Yeah.
The first 20 minutes of that movie was like, oh God, I just want to hate this movie. And then I started to laugh through it, and I was like, damn it, I guess I'm not going to hate this movie. Yeah, I would see it. I'm so done with Melissa McCarthy. That's all I have to say about that.
Hey, fair enough.
Spy was okay.
No, I love Spy.
Spy was good.
Yeah, I'll give her Spy. But guys, what did you think about Rough Night? Let us know in the comments below. You can follow us now on Podbean as well at The Real Pineapple. Follow us here on SoundCloud, The Real Pineapple 775. Follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at.
Newman the First.
You can follow Colin on Twitter at.
The Real Neil.
And guys, you can like us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple. I just posted, or will have my review up, pardon me, for Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 up this weekend. And we have to do it. We will have our review up for Transformers. What's this one called? The last bullshit. The last night, pardon me.
Hopefully, the last movie.
Yeah, the one.
Oh,
Here.
don't worry. They have a Bumblebee spin-off movie planned for next year. So
Fuck you.
Michael Bay's not going to do it though. I heard that.
yeah, no, this is his last Transformers movie. So
Yeah.
hopefully that will help a little bit.
For
I know
the
he
love of God.
I know he said that
End
last
this.
time.
Just end this. Let's just put a stop to this, please.
Dude, if they're gonna keep making Fast and Furious movies, you know they're gonna keep making Transformers movies. But guys, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.